Welcome to the Mark Pattison Show. Today we're going to talk about the 7 huge mistakes that people make that keep them from getting wealthy. You won't want to miss this. Welcome to the Mark Pattison Show. I went from being a solo agent to selling over $1 billion in real estate in just 6 years. I flip houses, I run a portfolio of investment properties, and I help people like you create lifestyles they couldn't even imagine living. I'm going to show you how to make riches through real estate. Welcome to the Mark Pattison Show. All right, welcome to the show, guys. And the purpose of this show is really to just educate, have fun, make sure that you guys have a good time while learning. And this time we're going to talk about some mistakes that people make, specifically 7 of them, and why it keeps them from achieving wealth that they could definitely have if they just did these little tweaks every single time. I kind of find it funny, and I don't want to say that I'm wealthy by any means, but I have more money than when I started in real estate, and I can pay my bills, so I think I'm doing quite well. But the biggest thing is that I look around, and there's a lot of smart people out there. I make more money than a lot of them, and I think that that's not fair, because I think that maybe just was not given, they weren't given the little tips that someone needed to have to make sure that they were put in the right position. One of the biggest things that I've learned from people that have a lot more money than I do is that they have a strategy, they have a plan. These 7 tips that I'm going to give you guys are essentially my plan and how I make sure that I am not going to be in the same situation I was 8, 9, 10 years ago. Because let me tell you, I was not handed my real estate business. I had to create it. Thankfully, my parents gave me a great backing with education and just kind of that spirit of go get it. There's no messing up, just go for it. But besides that, I really had to build this from the ground up. And really the things that I want to talk about are the 7 things that I learned throughout this. Is that one of the biggest mistakes I see, and this is probably the one that you need to write down the most, is people not saving money for their taxes. In real estate, we're paid a commission. You get paid $10,000. It's amazing. You haven't had $10,000 in your checking account ever. Most of us were bartenders, teachers, nurses, whatever. We didn't have a savings. People didn't teach us how to save. So you get that $10,000, and in reality, it's more like probably $6,000. And then we realize, we have broker fees. We've got MLS dues. We have National Association of Realtor dues. We've got local dues. And after that $10,000, it comes down to where maybe you have about $2,000. You also have to think about investing into your business, etc. So the way that I think about it is that anytime you get a check, have these bank accounts set up automatically. 30% minimum should be going to taxes. Now, some of you will say, write-offs, etc. Here's the thing. When you're starting out and you don't have everything set in, you don't have your S-Corp formed, you don't have your LLC, etc., you're going to want to have this in place to where you need to have more money than what your taxes are, and it is a great feeling at the end than the reverse of where you're having to chase and pay taxes on the money that you're making. Have 30% or maybe 35% go to a tax bracket. What I do is if I have my bank at, say, Chase or San Diego Credit Union or someone that's a small bank, have another account that could go to somewhere where you don't have access to it. Now, mind you, you could go there and pull out money if you need an emergency fund, of course, but it's great to have that money somewhere else so that you're not having to focus on it. And if it's there, some of us, myself included, would spend it. So 30% or more for taxes. Now you want to have an operating account. From that operating account, you're going to pay for your leads, you're going to pay for your dues, your NAR dues, whatever you have for real estate. Or if you're not in real estate, whatever you have that works for your business and, keeping your business up. What do you need to pay? That's your operating expenses, which should be about another 33%. And then the last one would be your spending money, your living money, your rent, your mortgage, etc. should be your last 33%. And about 10% of it from that 33, it's about 23 and 10% should be savings. You should be saving. You should have about 6 months reserves if you can. This is the biggest mistake I find in why people can't achieve wealth is because they're constantly chasing and they're not able to catch up. And once you get down that rabbit hole, it is almost impossible to get yourself out of there. Number 2 on what I see with dang real estate agents that are super talented and they get into this industry and they start spending too much money, it's called the lifestyle creep. What that means is you start living a lifestyle according to the amount of money you make. So say you only made $50,000 last year as a bartender, and this year you're going to make $100,000 as a real estate agent. Do not let the $100,000 as a real estate agent make you think you can live double the lifestyle. Unfortunately, most people it does. So of course you need to get into better means. You need to get a better living situation, but don't go out and rent that nicer apartment that's, $4,000, $5,000 a month that I've seen downtown. Mortgage wise, if you're buying something, fantastic, but usually that's after year 2 of being in the industry. But really not letting your lifestyle outpace your performance. If you spend $100,000 and you made $100,000, One, you didn't pay taxes, so you're screwed there. But if you spent 100 grand and made 100 grand, you're still at zero. You made less money than the person who has a W-2 job and made $40,000 for the year because you spent so much just trying to live your means and keeping up with the Joneses. So think about where you're spending your money and don't let the lifestyle creep happen to you, because we all want fancy things. We all want nicer stuff. But you know what? There's always more as well. At the level that I'm at, which is, like I said, it's not like some granular or some great level. It's a granular level compared to most in wealth. But there's always more. There's always the nicer car. There's always the nicer watch. There's always the nicer trip. So just live within your means and don't let that lifestyle creep outpace you. Stay with your current lifestyle if you can. Save up as much as you can. Have 6 months reserves on that. That's going to be one of your biggest things, because when you have a rainy day, you're not having to borrow money at interest, and that will help out as well. Number 3, and what I see, is that people don't understand how important their credit score is. Your credit score is basically a bank saying how eligible and how likely are you going to pay back debt. Now, mind you, if you have a low credit score, you're going to be paying a higher interest rate than what someone else with a high credit score would. This goes for cars especially, but housing, they may not even give you the home if you don't have a high enough credit score. But with cars, I know some people that, they started out, they're driving a piece of crap car and their payment's $500, $600 because their credit score was in the 5s. Now, if your credit score is in the 8s, you need to focus on that. Check out some free places that you can get your credit reporting done. Some credit cards will have it on there. Monitor that stuff. That is so important that you get your credit score up. Some tips for getting your credit up, which I'm not a financial advisor, but say your limit is $1,000, don't charge more than 30%. I've even heard maybe not more than 25%. So if your limit's $1,000, that means you can only charge $250. Not that you pay $1,000 and then you pay it off. You can't charge and pay and charge and pay. That'll actually hurt your credit. But also making sure that you have credit cards that you don't close out, because the credit history will help out your credit as well. Making sure that you pay attention to these little tiny things to improve your credit score over time. And say you have a credit card that you never use, make sure that they have one charge on there, whether it be Netflix, or maybe use that card for gas, only gas, and that's what you focus on. And making sure that the credit cards that you are utilizing are the best for your rewards. Now, if you have a horrible credit score, you may not be able to get the Amex Platinum, or you may not be able to get the Chase Sapphire card, or something that's going to give you the best rewards. Pay attention to what your cards are giving you and what you can maximize at this point in life. So pay attention to your credit score. If it's 5-something, it's nothing to be ashamed of. We were all there. I think I had a $560 and $70,000 in credit card, and I bought a timeshare once and I never paid on it, and that defaulted. Heck, we've been there. I was 20 years old or 19 years old when I bought that thing, and I think they gave me more mimosas than they should have, since I wasn't of legal age. Wyndham Homes or whatever, Wyndham Properties, whatever you guys do there. But we've all made those mistakes. Nothing to be ashamed of. Don't keep those secrets, because that's what's going to keep you in the poverty level of and I mean it, when you're in debt, you're in poverty. You are chasing. I know what that feels like, having to take those little checks they give you to pay your credit card bill, to then take it and then get a higher interest rate, and you're taking a zero. You're like, well, I got this zero interest rate for the next 12 months. But no, it costs you money to move that money there. It's not a fun way to live. Trust me, I've done it. So take these little tips. It'll help you out. Number 3 and 4 is kind of the same aspect, but one is don't compare yourself to what you see online. The people that with the Instagrams and the TikToks and the yachts and this stuff, let me tell you, most of them do not have money. Most of them don't own anything. Most of them are going to be really, really sad they took that path in 20 years when they don't have any assets. So don't compare yourself to people online. Until you know someone's story, until you can actually monitor and learn from them, don't even look at that kind of stuff. It's not even appealing to me. One is find a mentor. So this is our 4th one, is find a mentor or a coach that can teach you, and someone that's actually done it. There's a lot of programs out there, coaching programs and mentorship programs. I have a mentorship program, and it's based off of real estate. It's not based off of finance. I don't know crap about finance. I know enough, but I'm not confident in teaching someone. I do know how to build a real estate team. I do know how to mentor someone that's a solo agent to becoming a rock star, or someone who's on a team, or someone how to build a team. I know how to do that. That's what my mentorship program is built off of. We do it every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. It's the same people. We always grow together. I mean, it's always growing, but I'm saying it's the same crew, and you can trust each other. That's what you need to surround yourself with. Somewhere that you can be vulnerable and say, hey, look, these are my mistakes that I'm happening, or these are what I'm having to find that I can't get, a solution to. What have you done? If you don't have people that have gone through experience it themselves, then how are you going to learn from them? It's the people online that act like they've done it, and they're selling a course, and they've never even done it themselves. So make sure you know who you're watching and who you're going and trying to model your business after, because it does truly impact your life and your business. Number 5, big mistake, is people that don't analyze or track their results. If you're not tracking, you can't improve. So something that Tom Ferry says, my real estate coach and my mentor, going back to number 4, he says, whatever you track and measure can improve. If you don't track and measure everything, I'm talking about, outbound dials, prospecting, contracts, did you get the offer accepted? Why didn't you get an offer accepted? That's where you can go back and coach yourself and use mentors and coaches to help you figure out where you actually can improve. So track and measure everything, track and measure your expenses. Where's your highest ROI? Is that lead source not providing a good ROI? Well, maybe that lead source takes X amount of months to convert and it just hasn't been able long enough, Find out from people that have done it, see what works in your marketplace, and that's how you're able to do it. And that's how you're able to basically figure out, what works for me in my business, and you're not wasting money on stupid shit. That's definitely something that we'll talk about as well. Today's episode is brought to you by MarkPattisonRealEstate.com, my 6-week master real estate team course. My team was the first team ever to sell over 500 homes in a year in San Diego County. And I'm launching a course, and you can learn the fundamentals of how to launch a successful real estate team and implement proven systems and strategies that get you results fast. For more information, visit MarkPattisonRealEstate.com. Once again, that's MarkPattisonRealEstate.com. So we'll jump into number 6. Do not buy stupid shit. So this goes back to the lifestyle creep of just buying things. But no, I'm talking about bobbleheads and gifts for people. Just little things that you go to the grocery store and you're just buying and you aren't using it. Things online from Amazon. Stop buying that stuff because that adds up. And those things, it's not the fact that it costs $200. It's the fact that you didn't take that $200 and invest it in something else. That is a huge, huge, huge thing that happens, is that a lot of people think that it only costs them a certain amount. That coffee only costs $5. Well, that coffee times twice a day times, 7 days a week. And I'm not saying don't have coffee, because I like my coffee. I like going to the coffee shops. But the biggest thing is people don't think, but they forget the compound effect of what that money's worth and what that money could be. It goes back to investing. And that goes to me to be my number 6 topic, I believe, is that people aren't saving money in savings banks. People that are wealthy have their money invested. I understand having money for a rainy day. That's a different story. You do need to have reserves liquid, something that you can pull out just to make sure that you can make your payments, and I would say maybe 2 or 3 months liquid, and then 3 months maybe in stocks or something where you can sell off quickly. Now, if it's a real estate asset, you could of course sell it if you needed it, but I'm saying something you could sell off in a couple days versus it being a 3-month transaction. 6 months reserves is definitely a thing, but if you have that money in a savings account, you are losing money. A couple reasons why you're losing money. 1, you're losing out on opportunity for investments. Number 2, inflation. Inflation is outpacing any interest rate that a bank will pay you, period. I don't care if you say I get 1% back. I don't care if you get whatever. You're probably not getting 1%. You're probably getting 0.1% back. And those banks are loaning your money out and leveraging you and making money off of your money. Exactly today, I was at Chase Bank. They said, hey, if you keep the $250,000 in your account, we'll make you a private client. And I said, well, please tell me benefits of private client. One was that I get free wires. And I said, actually, I don't get free wires. He goes, no, sir, you do. I said, well, no, because that $250,000 is sitting in a Chase account and I'm not making money off that $250,000, which is actually a negative to me. So that $30 wire that you guys charge me for me to keep $250,000 in my account, that's not free. That's costing me money. That's costing me a lot more than $30 as well. So how about this? Let's go and take that $250, go buy a flip or go buy an investment property in X market, Chattanooga, Louisville, Kentucky, wherever, and then you can make money off of that. That's where you make money. The idea that I can put $250,000 in Chase and just let it sit there, in my mind, the dumbest thing in the world. The guy looked at me like I was stupid for a second, but then he kind of realized my point, and he's like, good on you, buddy. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll pay the $30 wire. If there is a better way to get free wires, please let me know. But for me, I don't want to keep my money in an account. And then last is my reason of why people may not, get wealthy, or may they, just spend their money and just keep spinning their wheels. And why this is because they're not following someone like me. They're not subscribing to channels. They're not educating themselves for free. Mind you guys, if I was in high school and YouTube was out, YouTube might have been out. It wasn't what it is today is my point. But subscribe. Freaking learn from people that know a little bit about something a little bit better than you. I'm not saying I know it all, but I know enough that it got me from where I was to where I am today. And now here's the thing. Don't go after the people that are way above you. Go after the people that are a little bit above you and start chasing them. And, hopefully you pass them. And then soon enough, your sphere of influence, your circle of friends, your network, your mentorships, your coaches, they're leveling up constantly. Your coach is going to change over time because you're going to outpace them. You're going to outperform them. You're going to become the better version of them, and then you need a new coach. That's totally normal. So subscribe to stuff like this. Subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you think. Give me other tips of what you guys have done. This is just what I've done with my money and what I found to help me. But trust me, I'm still got a long journey ahead before I've got it because, same thing I said about lifestyle creep. There's always something more, right? There's always people out there with more money. The only person who can't say that, I think, is Elon Musk right now. So besides that, everyone else is chasing something. And don't be like doomsday thinking that it's, never attainable. Get to where you're comfortable. You don't need the billions of dollars. Millions are fine. Hundreds of thousands of dollars is fine. Biggest thing I ever learned, and this is my last takeaway here. This is kind of a bonus. I walked into this girl's house in high school. She and I were studying biology, and her house was freaking amazing. Like on the water, trampoline room, basketball court. I mean, like full-size basketball court on the ocean. And I said, what the heck do your parents do for work? And she's like, well, my mom's a school teacher and my dad is a fireman. And I said, okay, what did your grandparents do for work? Because obviously someone had to inherit some money. Like this wasn't a normal house. And she said, no. My dad started buying rental properties every year since he was 18 years old. And I said, holy crap, how many investment properties does he own now? And she was like, I don't know, like a few hundred, I think. And so point being is that you don't have to have the job where you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can have a job that is secure, that you're smart and you're investing and you're living within your means and you're taking that money and you're making more money. There's tons of different ways to do it. Look up people that are doing it like your situation. You don't have to be in real estate to do this. You can take this and you can change your life. That's what I love about real estate. Now, I know there's people out there that do crypto and they do other things and they do other investments and Amazon stores. This is what I know. I know that real estate works and 90% of millionaires are from real estate. That will change. I mean, the industry's changing as a whole. The market's changing with crypto and other things. There are becoming more millionaires out there through other means. But for history, and has it's been, and history repeats itself, as we know, 90% of millionaires are from real estate. So if you have other ways of staying wealthy, keeping your tips and post below, let me know what you've done. If you got like a greatness tracker, if you have an app that you use, please, by all means, share it. You can check out my mentorship program down below and subscribe if you can. Would love to hear from you guys. All right. That was the Mark Pattison Show, and chat soon. Thank you for tuning into the Mark Pattison Show today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please download so you can refer back. If you like this content and want to continue receiving real estate education for free, head over to your computer, scroll all the way down to the section after the episodes on the podcast, and select the 5 stars. If you're willing to commit to transforming your business, please visit my website, markpattisonrealestate.com. We've created a community of real estate professionals where we give back and share tips on how to succeed. Visit markpattisonrealestate.com. And remember, if you're not fucking up, then you're not trying.